Imagine setting up, a state-of-the-art security system for your house. You install the heavy-duty deadbolts, you calibrate the motion sensors, wire up the high-definition cameras.
Right, you lock the door and feel totally secure.
Exactly. You set the alarm and you walk away feeling safe. But the moment your back is turned, the burglar standing outside your house instantly changes their facial structure to bypass your biometric camera.
Oh, wow. That is a terrifying image.
It gets worse. They swap their lockpicks for a digital relay device. And then when the neighborhood watch walks by, the burglar suddenly speaks a different language and perfectly mimics your next door neighbor's cadence to avoid suspicion.
Yeah, just completely shape-shifting on the fly.
Right. Every single time you layer on a new defense, the attacker just mutates their approach in real time to render it obsolete.
I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but that dynamic is precisely what is executing at scale across the global financial system right now. We are looking at an environment where, the threat model doesn't just evolve year over year, it adapts microsecond by microsecond.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are digging into a fascinating 2026 article from FinCrime Intelligence. It's titled AI-Powered Polymorphic Attacks, the new machine speed threat facing financial crime defenses.
Yeah, it is a massive read, really dense, but so crucial for what is happening today.
Totally. And our mission today is to unpack how artificial intelligence isn't just, creating better malware. It is completely rewiring the economics and the speed of financial crime.
Yeah.
And we really need to figure out how our financial institutions can possibly defend against an enemy that mutates in real time.
Yeah, because the old methods just aren't cutting it anymore.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to hand it over to you first, just to define what we are actually dealing with here, because the word polymorphic gets thrown around a lot in this article.
Right. So to give some historical context, financial crime has always been this sort of evolutionary arms race. When banks enhanced their sanctions screening, the criminals shifted to complex layering with shell companies.
Just finding the path of least resistance.
Exactly. And traditionally in cybersecurity, the term polymorphic referred specifically to malware, basically malicious code that would change its file hashes or its execution paths just to hide from antivirus software.
So, the malicious goal was the same, but it wore a different disguise so the scanner wouldn't recognize it?
Yep, that is exactly it. But this new AI escalation expands that concept way beyond just the code itself. Now, we're seeing attacks that adapt across multiple dimensions simultaneously.
Okay, give me an example of what that looks like in practice.
Well, take phishing emails. They are now changing their tone and their pretext based on the specific role of the victim. Or social engineering scripts that adapt in real time to whatever you say back to them.
Wait, really? They actually respond to your pushback?
Oh, absolutely. And on the back end, the attack infrastructure is constantly rotating IP addresses and cloud services. It's a fully dynamic campaign now.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second here for everyone listening. Wait, isn't this just the same old phishing and hacking, just, slightly faster? Why is this a structural shift?
Yeah, that is the exact pushback a lot of people have at first. But what makes it a structural shift is the economics. The FinCrime Intelligence article actually cites data from the Google Threat Intelligence Group, as well as Palo Alto Network's Unit 42.
Oh, right. I saw that. Some heavy hitters.
Yeah, and what both of those groups are seeing is that generative AI, when it's used at an industrial scale, drastically reduces the time, the cost, and the skill required for criminals to launch these campaigns.
So it's not just faster. It's basically democratizing high-level cybercrime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, previously, writing a highly convincing targeted spear phishing email took a lot of research, native language skills, technical know-how. Now you just prompt the AI. The barrier to entry has completely collapsed.
Wow. Okay, so now that we understand this economic shift, we really need to see exactly how this terrifying adaptability plays out in a real-world scenario.
Now, let's walk through the actual attack chain the article outlines.
Yeah.
It usually starts with step one, which is just gathering the raw materials.
Right, and they get this from the hidden economy, which, by the way, Europol's 2025 cybercrime reporting highlighted is just massive now. Terabytes of breach data to identify targets.
Exactly. They scrape all that compromised data. Then step two is where the AI kicks in. It generates these incredibly tailored deepfakes or hyper-personalized phishing messages based on the stolen data.
And this is step three, right, the mutation. Here is where it gets really interesting, because there is an automated feedback loop. Say you get a phishing text, but you have multi-factor authentication, so it blocks the attacker.
Under the old model, the attacker might just move on to an easier target.
Right, but not now. The AI doesn't give up. The attack instantly pivots to session hijacking. Or it might dynamically shift to socially engineering your IT support team to reset your token.
Yeah, the automation just finds another way in. If a malware payload is blocked by the firewall, the AI instantly mutates the code and tries a new variant.
And if they actually get in and try to steal money, and your bank blocks the payment, the funds are instantly split up and rerouted.
What's fascinating here is that the attackers aren't just trying to breach a system for fun. Their entire goal is to monetize access.
Like identity takeover, payment fraud, dumping it into crypto.
Exactly. The breach is just the top of the funnel for a massive money laundering operation.
It is wild. You know, it reminds me of a video game boss. Like, in old games, a boss had a fixed pattern. You memorize it, you beat it. But in modern games, the boss learns your combat style while you are actively fighting it.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
Right. If you keep attacking its left side, it shifts its armor to the left. It's no longer a static checklist of fraud rules. It's like a living, breathing operating model.
It really is. The attacker is literally using your own defensive responses to train and optimize their next move against you.
Which is terrifying. Because if the attack is this living, adapting entity, it forces us to look at the defenders. How do traditional bank defenses hold up against a shape-shifting enemy?
The short answer, they don't.
Yes, spoiler.
Right. And the main reason they fail is this concept called rule decay. Banks rely incredibly heavily on static controls.
Like what? Just fixed rules in a system?
Yeah, things like fixed transaction thresholds, list-based screening for bad names,
Right.
or blocking known bad IP ranges.
So if a bank has a rule that blocks any sudden transfer over, say, $10,000.
The AI hits that block, learns the threshold instantly, and just breaks the payment into, hundreds of smaller values of $99.
To sneak right under the radar.
Exactly. Or if a rule relies on exact name matching for a sanctioned company, the AI just varies the spelling or the corporate structure a dozen different ways until it gets through.
It just brute forces the loopholes. So the article breaks this down into 4 critical pressure points that institutions are facing.
Yes, the 4 pressure points. The first one is detection latency. This is huge. AI attacks exploit the time gap between an alert going off and a human investigator actually looking at it.
Because by the time a human logs in and checks the alert, what? The money is already gone.
Gone, washed, and sitting in an untraceable crypto wallet. The speed is just asymmetric.
Wow. Okay, what is the second pressure point?
The second is rule decay, which we just touched on. The idea that old assumptions, like what an attacker's IP address is, become obsolete the second they are printed.
Right, because the attacker just changes it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads directly to the third point, false positives.
Oh, this is the one that impacts all of us.
Totally. Because when banks realize their rules are decaying, they panic. They tighten all their security rules to try and catch the AI. But all that does is ruin the customer experience and drown their own investigators in noise.
Right. Suddenly my legitimate rent payment gets flagged as fraud and my account is frozen.
Yeah. And the investigator is stuck reviewing your rent payment while the real AI attack slips by somewhere else.
Man, that is a mess. And the last point.
The fourth pressure point is blended typologies. A cyber event, like a compromised login, is now just stage 1 of a money laundering event. You can't treat them as separate silos anymore.
So if you are listening to this, put yourself in the shoes of a bank investigator right now. If your rule book is outdated the second it's printed, and every new rule you make just annoys your real customers, how do you even begin to fight back against this?
Well, the failure of static rules directly means we need a completely new philosophy of defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't catch an adaptive enemy with a static net, right?
The net itself has to become adaptive.
Exactly. The paradigm shift here is moving away from identifying indicators, like a specific bad IP address, and moving toward identifying intent and behavior.
Okay, so looking at how someone is acting, not just who they claim to be.
Precisely. The article breaks down some key solutions. The biggest one is behavioral analytics. You look for unusual sequences, velocity, or device behavior.
So it's not just one red flag, it's a bunch of yellow flags adding up.
Exactly. A single weak signal might be fine. But a chain of weak signals, like logging in from a new device, immediately changing a password, and trying to wire out 80% of the balance, that reveals a high-risk event.
I see. And then there is real-time risk scoring, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, if a user logs in from a new device right after a massive phishing campaign was detected in their area, they shouldn't be treated like a normal returning customer. Their risk score needs to adapt instantly.
Which means the bank's internal teams actually need to talk to each other, which brings us to the cyber and fin crime fusion point.
Yeah, the silos absolutely have to fall. Cyber threat intelligence has to feed directly into AML that's anti-money laundering monitoring.
So if the IT guys see a weird login, the fraud guys need to know about it that exact second.
Right, it can't be an email sent the next morning. It has to be automated. But importantly, the AI shouldn't replace the human investigators.
Ah, investigator augmentation.
Yes, the AI should summarize the complex cases, filter out the false positive noise, and just present the human with a clear picture so they can make a faster, better decision.
Because you still need a human to make that final judgment call.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, regulators are watching this very closely.
Oh, I bet they are.
Yeah, the article points out the Reserve Bank of India's 2026 Financial Stability Report. They explicitly named AI cyber attacks as a major threat to overall financial stability.
Not just a threat to one bank, but the whole system.
Right. And because of that, banks have to prove to regulators how their defensive AI actually works. It's called model explainability.
Oh, man. So you can't just have a black box AI making decisions. You have to be able to tell the regulator exactly why the AI froze an account.
Exactly. And you have to do bias testing to prove your AI isn't accidentally discriminating against certain demographics just because of flawed training data.
So what does this all mean for the banks? Basically, refusing to modernize is super risky, but deploying some poorly governed AI is just as risky.
It's a tightrope. The only winning defense is deeply integrating people, processes, and data to spot tomorrow's mutation before the money actually moves.
Wow. So, to kind of bring this all together for you listening, the era of static passwords and simple fraud alerts is officially over. We are firmly in the machine speed era of financial crime, where the boundaries between like a simple phishing text on your phone and a global money laundering syndicate have completely blurred.
And this is really why your own banking experiences might be getting more complex recently.
Yeah, all those annoying extra steps.
Exactly. If you've noticed behavioral biometrics or step-up verifications becoming the new normal on your app, that is the friction required to keep your money safe from an enemy that literally never sleeps.
It is wild to think about. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If attackers are using AI to mutate their attacks at light speed, and banks are using AI to adapt their defenses at that exact same speed, are we just watching the beginning of an automated, invisible, evolutionary arms race?
It really feels like it.
Right. And eventually, when these two AI systems are just fighting each other at millions of decisions per second, where does the human being even fit into the loop?
That is the million-dollar question.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the digital world around you, and we will catch you next time.